Hey everyone, this is Doug Kenny along with my coach and mentor, actor Andy McPhee. I'm the author of the Throw All the Junk Food Away children's book, which I created through the mentorship of Andy. And we welcome you to Tales from the Mat.
Yeah, thanks. We've got Ken Dunlop here with us, and I'm sure a lot of Aussie wrestling fans, no matter how young or old you are, you would have heard Ken's name around the traps because he's been at it for a long time. He's got a book he's going to tell us about. And just quickly, why we started this was because Doug mentioned, well, Andy, you're a pro wrestler. Pro wrestling got you into acting, and acting got your son into my acting got my son into acting, and now he's just won a Golden Globe. So why I love pro wrestling, it created tons of opportunities and got to meet many great guys. Unfortunately, Ken and me never met on the mat, but Ken's had a lot more experience than I did. I was in the game for probably 12 years or something, but Ken's got a great history, and we're going to hear a little bit about that tonight, and also Ken's book. So, Ken, thanks for making the time from you're in Melbourne, Australia?
No, Sydney, Australia.
Sydney, okay. Sorry about that, mate. I'm from Melbourne, but I'm really sorry you live in Sydney.
I was born in Melbourne, so I'm born and bred in Melbourne, and I want to go back there to live eventually.
Yeah, you're forgiven, mate. You're forgiven. You're not a Sydney. Well, thanks, Ken. Can you just share a little bit with us? Just how did you get into pro wrestling?
Okay, in Australia during the 60s and 70s, wrestling was absolutely massive here in Australia. It was on TV twice a week. And as a kid growing up in the country areas, my mum and dad and my brothers and sisters all loved professional wrestling. And every Saturday and Sunday, we'd sit around and watch the TV. They would come up to the country areas probably once every 6 to 8 weeks. So we'd go to the country shows and watch them. And from the age of 7 or 8, if you asked me what I wanted to be, it was always a pro wrestler or a policeman. They were my two options. And then when I was 13, we moved down to Melbourne, and then Mum and I started going to Festival Hall every Saturday night. So it went from 73 right till the end in 78, which was the best times of my life. I loved it.
Yeah, Festival Hall was great. Hey, I mean, did you end up wrestling at Festival Hall? I'm sure you did many times.
I did, lucky enough, quite a few times, yeah. And I wrestled my idol, Kenny Medlin, there, which was my dream.
Oh, yes, I remember Kenny Medlin, yes. I was the same as you, mate. Like, used to watch it on TV on Sunday, and my dad used to go, "What are you watching this bullshit for?" I went, "Dad, it's not. It's real. I love it," right? And the crazy part is, like you, I ended up wrestling the people I was watching on TV, like Mario Milano. It was just, and what was his name? Sadly, he passed away. They were a wrestling team. Oh man, he died about 7 or 8 years ago. That's terrible. I can't remember his name now. They were a team. They were the favourite Aussie team. Can you remember them, Doug?
Larry O'Day and Ron Miller.
Yeah, Larry O'Day. Well, sadly, he passed away, but I got to meet him at a show in Melbourne. Lovely guy. Yeah, there's some great memories. What was your in? How did you actually get in? Who did you meet? How did you find out about the wrestling?
I was very lucky because we went every Saturday night. We got to meet a lot of the local people, and you'd get to meet a few of the local wrestlers. So I got to meet Sam Rossi and John Snyder and their families as well. And when I turned 16, Sam Rossi actually said to me, "Would you be interested in learning?" And I just jumped at the chance. I said yes straight away. And they had a great little gymnasium in North Melbourne called MB's Gym. MB's Gym. And I went up there in the February in 1977. And there was Casey Miller, Fred Berger, John Snyder, Jim DeMeros, and Sam Rossi. They were the 5 owners. And they all taught you different things on different nights of the week. So I'd go Tuesdays and Thursdays and occasionally on a Saturday as well. Plus I got to train with other guys, Colin Cooney, Fat Dominic, Sherry Sinatra,
Oh, wow.
And Johnny Doyle. So it was great to get all the different experience and different types of wrestling.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. You're just bringing so many memories back because Sherry, we work with her a lot. She's a tough one. Whew.
Oh yeah, she could beat half the guys up. No worries at all.
For real. For real.
Yeah. But she's got a heart of stone, a heart of gold. She's absolutely a lovely lady.
Yeah, she's awesome. And Jim Demiris, yes, we did a lot with Jim. Fat Dominic, very close to him and his family. I mean, Fat Dom, he's a funny guy, you know, like you hated him, but you loved him. You know, like
I got on really well with him. Like he wasn't that popular as a promoter with a lot of the local guys.
Yeah.
But in Sydney at the time, and he used to fly me down for quite a few shows, and he'd always invite my family to the shows. My mum and dad, they'd go along to the shows. And, he was really good guy, but he wasn't sort of treated that well, I don't think.
Yeah, and he had a big heart, and he would do anything for you. We stayed at his house many times, and fantastic guy, but really good memories. I just think, apart from the fact that the wrestling had me start my acting career through a 100 Jacks commercial 32 years ago, I'm blessed to have been moved into the acting world, and it was great. But I still love the wrestling. Like I've hooked up with a few guys over here. James Storm, we did a film together last year, 2 years ago in Melbourne. There's a movie out which is on this group. It's called what is it? What's the name of it again, Doug? The zombie wrestling one with Chris.
Oh, Midnight Zombie Massacre.
Yeah, Midnight Zombie Massacre. These two pro wrestlers from America did. It's a bit of a take on pro wrestling, but it's hilarious. So we're just getting to meet like so many cool guys, and it's actually a real honor to meet you, Ken, because I do remember your name for many years in wrestling, but I never actually got to meet you in person. So it's great that we're meeting up now. You know, it's awesome. Yeah. Hey, Doug, any questions, mate? Being a pro wrestling fan.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's somebody in that industry named John Schneider. Is that the actor in The Dukes of Hazzard or no?
No. John was a very big man. He would have been 25 stone. A big, bald fellow. Him and his tag team partner, Kurt Schneider, they were both born in Australia, but they portrayed German Nazis. They were obviously the heels. And they were a great tag team, and they were around for many years. They actually did, I think, 3 months tour of Canada in the mid to late 70s as well. But John was an actor as well. He did a few The Price is Right, a few of those sort of shows. He did a few commercials here as well. But he was just such a massive guy, and he became my very best friend. He was my mentor for many years. He was a fantastic guy, and sadly, he passed away at quite a young age. He got shot. He was in a robbery. He was a bouncer at a club which got robbed, and he got shot, and he died from the complications from the shot wound. So,
wow,
yeah.
Yeah, and look, a lot of those guys too. Good, thanks, Doug. Good question to bring that up. A lot of those guys outside of wrestling, a lot of them were bouncers and worked in those type of jobs. But I mean, I think more so back in the day, I think you may agree with me, Ken, that a lot of those guys outside the ring were actually really hard, tough men. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and a lot of the American boys that come over, you didn't want to mess around with them in the ring. If you weren't playing the game, you're in trouble. You know.
Yeah, a lot of the Americans said when they came here, they had to work harder than they did back home.
Ah, great. I love that. Yeah, there was, he's probably the hardest guy that you met, whether he be an Aussie or an American, during your career.
It'd have to be George Barnes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, him and I never got on. We never liked each other. And every match, it was just stiff, potatoes galore. He fractured my jaw once just at training. A real tough dude. I mean, he was a sensational wrestler.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like him as a person. We didn't get on well at all.
Yeah, and that happened a lot behind the scenes. Like, a lot of the guys didn't like each other. Not many, but there was percentage of guys that actually did not like each other. And like you said, you get in the ring and those matches would be like that. Now, what was his what did he wrestle under? What was his name?